What's up, everybody? Actually, I'll be right back. Oh, what's up, Kinfolk? Let me actually. What's up, Brittany? What's up, Jay? How are you doing? I need to go to my. All right. What's up, Pity? What's up, John? Ready to get into it? Yeah. Fam, are you gonna hit on a new interview? Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Excuse me while I look for something. I had washed my hands. I am on the tubes of Ubes. So if you guys want to watch along with me on YouTube as I get ready to talk about, uh, yeah, two things to go over tonight. I can't even get to the regular scheduled program that I had to be postponed until tomorrow. But I got two interviews we gotta go through. It's about 30 minutes apiece. We gotta go through. Well, you already know which one we gotta go through. We gotta go check out Nancy because I got something to say about the Nancy one too. Um, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, you know, I don't know how everything look. I gotta take it out of this because it's confusing me right now how it looks. But how y'all doing on TikTok though? I feel like I'm missing some of y'all messages. Trent, you been waiting on me. We ain't here. Okay, simple. I see y'all switched over to YouTube. I'm gonna wait for y'all to either pop into TikTok or come over to YouTube. I don't want to start and have to start over. Good, big bro. I'm glad y'all are good. What's up, TK? What's up, baby sis? Oh, well, y'all tell me before I get into what I'm gonna get into. How y'all feel about it? I haven't studied it yet. I've watched it all the way through at least once. I'm not gonna sit here and say I haven't. Um, but I definitely have an assessment of it. What's up, Miss Ladies? Let me see. Having for an hour. Oh, you saying you can only tune in for an hour? I understand that. That's why I like doing it on YouTube because if you guys miss it, you can always go back and watch what was said, especially in these moments like this. Especially in moments like this. What's up, Ducky? Um, that interview was stupid. AF. You got an opinion on it? I'm so angry, bro, and low key thought the interview old because they brought up Nolan being seen after six. You talking about the Nancy one, or you talking about old dude? Pissed I couldn't listen anymore. You gotta be objective and at least get through it. Look, and it's only part one. It's only part one. I think the video. Oh, they mentioned Nolan being Officer Dumbass. You gonna give me TOS? I appreciate it. Hello, everyone. Oh, good. What's up, Yoli? Hello, just came on. Yeah, I'm on YouTube. So if you guys want to watch the two special interviews that came out today, we over there. I watched. So I fell asleep last night. Yeah, when I tell you, I've had a lot of people tell me that. I'm like, I would never expect that. So I got to figure that out. consistent schedule or something. I didn't get to watch it yet. We're gonna watch it together. We're gonna watch it on YouTube though. You know, TikTok be little been handling me rough, so I can project my voice on here, but as far as the real deal info, I gotta do over there. They seem to have their story straight on that. On what, Chris? Let me know. You on YouTube? Yeah, I'm on YouTube. I can't read Nancy's take. We gonna talk about Nancy too, man. I'm 38 high after Tatum. Yeah, Teresa. I'm on YouTube right now. I don't want to leave TikTok without a mod. I feel that. I don't know where Empress is at. Yeah, it's a time schedule. Thank you. Tatum got one out. He definitely did. He got one of them out. I'm so sick of tater tot. Oh man, I hope they shed more light on this BS. I do too. Not happy about it. What's up, D? How everyone today was a day. Today was definitely a day. I see 23 on TikTok. I mean on YouTube. Let me get 50 on YouTube and I'll keep going. I mean, I'm gonna go anyway, but like I said, I know if I start, it's gonna be some of y'all like, you didn't do this and you didn't do that. And I don't mind that. I just want to get everybody in one spot as much as possible. Either way. Unless y'all just like looking at my face and not the video, then I get it. What's up, Leanna? Alright. So they playing in my face. I'm gonna go ahead and because I think y'all got y'all's opinions of it out. And so I just want to say, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to fold them. I'm gonna have to quit. I mean, after that interview, what can I do? You know, what can I do? They're being serious, guys. Like they're saying they're going to sue all of us. They're going to ruin our lives. So, I mean, as I watched it, I had a revelation. I was like, man, we have really ruined their lives. They can't go out in public and eat anymore. Their lives are just so messed up. And you know, I had to really take a serious moment to myself. I was like, man, this attorney guy really seems like serious. And it scared me because, you know, I felt like he was almost like Jesus. He gave me a moment to repent, you know. And how dare I not take that moment, guys, and just repent and just stop doing all of this. Like we're doing the wrong thing. I'm gonna be mature. I'm gonna be the adult here. And I just want to say that how fragile that ego is, how fragile the mind is, how easy one is to break under just a little bit of pressure. Never in my wildest dreams would I expect the far leaning right to reveal who they are completely to every last one of us and to root hard about the First Amendment. You know, I hate to put things in these type of words at any point in time because I don't like to play with God. You know, everybody has a way of how they do things, but I'm not a person that believes in irony. I'm not a person that believes in coincidence. It doesn't make sense to me. Now, why am I saying that? Why am I saying that? What relevance does it have? Well, I'm gonna tell you. Because if Chud the Builder got out today, a person that Alex Rosen and others put up $1 million bond for, because they believe in free speech, yet that same group of people want us to shut the fuck up. Nah, I don't understand what I'm supposed to convey from that. Because it's good for I, but not for thee. You can do it. It's okay when you do it. But it's a problem when I do it. And not I specifically, but whomever he was addressing. You now want to revoke someone's freedom of speech to find the truth because you don't like it. Now I just want to say, and I'm going to be the fair one here, I'm going to be the honest one here. I don't believe anyone should be threatening anyone at any point in time. I think we agree, right? No one should be threatening anyone. Fair? Is that fair to say, y'all? I don't think that Luxie wants anyone to be threatened. I don't think Leanne wants anyone to be threatened. I don't think Simple wants anyone to be threatened. We just want the truth. Now, are there some people out there doing extremely way too much, overly doing it? Yes. As we see it every single day, we see it every single day. We've talked about it. There's no reason to go back down that rabbit hole. And I would like to believe that the people who have the most influence right now have, for the most part, been extremely careful and responsible. I've even told you guys, hey, let's not do that. I've seen Asia say, hey, let's not do it. I've seen Simple Sound come back and apologize and say, woo, I messed up on that. I've seen us all take accountability when we've been wrong, and I've seen us drill the shit out of everything else. Now let's be fair here. I heard a lot of things. I didn't hear a single thing that made me feel empathy. And maybe that's just an indictment on me. Maybe I lack empathy because the life that I was given to live coming up in this world was desensitizing me from your experience. Maybe what I was born into was just normal to me, but for you, it's hell. And I seen for the first time that maybe this is all supposed to happen this way because you're starting to understand what it feels like when that privilege, that benefit of the doubt, that trustworthiness that some of us never had, you've always had, and it's been ripped away from you. And see, that's something that I covet. That's something that I'm jealous about. You know? To be able to live life carefree in America. to truly feel the way I want to feel and be able to go where I want to without being judged, without people not wanting me there, without people picking fights with me for no reason. Oh, that sounded like a joy. And so maybe now, the way that God works, maybe this is a moment for us all to connect in one crazy ass way to understand empathy. But Mr. Edward, whatever the hell your name is, Mr. I'm big and bad, in the famous 2 words of Stone Cold Steve Austin, fuck you. Now I'm gonna get into the actual shit. Because I have no empathy, no sympathy, no regrets, no remorse. Do what you have to do, sir. Do what you have to do. However you feel like you need to go about your job, I think that we have learned through history that this is what we call buck breaking. We call this public humiliation. And I guess maybe you're doing your ritual right now. And you're trying to pass it off on to everyone else. But to say that you think that you can just scare people because, yes, I get it. Your master, number 47, your master. Yeah, your master. You can go to Massa and ask him to do anything for you inside the courts of whatever state that you go to. Cool. But I think you underestimate history. I think you underestimate the line that has been crossed. I think you understand that this is now beyond just what these boys have done, and that they may unfortunately be the product of a already crumbling system. Now, I think what we're witnessing, whether we want to say the boys are innocent or guilty, we have unfortunately ran into on both sides, because both sides feel a certain type of way, the famous story that we all have read our kindergarten year or our first grade year in elementary school. It's a very famous book. Very famous. Everybody knows it. Can you take a guess? The Little Boy Who Cried Wolf. Great book, right? Anybody seen that? Y'all read that book, right? Am I tripping? Am I the only one that has read The Little Boy Who Cried Wolf? The little boy that says, wolf, wolf, wolf. Wolf, 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 wolf. People come out. There's no wolf. Little boy gets a kick out of it. Ha! Got away with that. Long story short, that little boy keeps crying, wolf. And eventually, the people don't show up anymore. And so that wolf eats that little boy's ass. Pause and no Diddy and no Jeffrey Epstein. But see, this is a different case of the little boy who cried wolf. It's the opposite. It's when you continuously are the villain. When you continuously allow things to go unanswered. Trayvon Martin. You continuously refuse to charge people with crimes. Eric Gardner. You refuse to hold law enforcement accountable. Fidel Castile. You refuse to shut the races up. George Floyd. You refuse to give our women respect and the dignity they deserve. Breonna Taylor. So when you do and do and do, when you M and M and M, when you ignore, well, even the world itself, this big, beautiful earth that we live on, it gets built up with magma. And what eventually happens when that magma keeps building up? Even the earth has to release that pressure and it explodes. Hell, we've even seen mountains blow their tops. Mount St. Helens, if you don't know, go ahead and look it up. And it's a catastrophe. Record levels. What do you think is going to happen to any group of people that you continuously go there? What do you think that a people that is very violent and aggressive continuously is being docile and not being heard? See, I agree with everybody. We are not our ancestors. Because my grandparents are the generation that's telling us to find the peaceful way to do it. But when the peaceful way is being ignored, and then you publicly call us stupid, when we are the most educated group that has ever been, Black women are the most educated group in America, and you tell us all that we don't hear what we're freaking hearing? At what point do you just keep smiling? See, I know somebody that smiles and he's in a comic book, but he creates absolute madness. It's because they drove him crazy. If you don't know what I'm talking about the Joker. So there's only so far that we're going to smile through this shit before absolute mayhem erupts. And might I dare say that right now, mayhem is starting to break out. We're smiling. We're peaceful right now. But we're looking at you like, lie. See, we seen what happened with the OJ thing, and that, I think, is like 1,000% of where we're at now. I do not want anyone to make threats, but I don't think that even if we were silent at this point, it makes a difference. It wouldn't have. See, the thing about it is the boys try to make it seem like it was about what the media was saying. But Jackson Morgan, we didn't care who you were at any point in time. And if Warren is not getting all the deep threats, no. You know who's getting all the real trouble? And this is why y'all still don't get it. It's not even you, Warren, who made the most contradictory statements. It's not you, Warren, the one that fingers are really pointing at you the hardest. You know who took the lick the hardest? Tristan. No. Tristan is damn near getting ran out of the city. He can't get a Red Bull, a Gatorade. He can't sit down and eat. Because not only are you not dealing with a certain group not liking you, but you alienated yourself with the only ally that you had. And when you thought that those people would take up for you, The people opposite of the end of the table. Sometimes they will, but you piss those people off. Because those people align with brown and black people. And so when you lose that group and you also lose your own, well, you have no allyship. Because Ocean Springs looks out for Ocean Springs. And boy, did you find out that you're not a part of Ocean Springs. No lawyers coming up to help you. No one's going to save you. You're a real life get out. And I honestly hate that for you. It's going to get a lot darker, and it doesn't have to be anyone making threats. I encourage people not to make threats. The issue now is you have put yourself in a world that doesn't fuck with you. And now the people that would have fucked with you no longer want anything to do with you. And when we don't want anything to do with you, the world will turn against you. Welcome to Jurassic Park, y'all. So, I'm going to watch this whole interview with you guys. We're going to go through it. We're going to analyze it. We're going to talk about it. And if I can get to the end, and mind you guys on TikTok, if you're not on YouTube, hop on YouTube with me because we finna start showing the videos. I'm also going to try to get through Nancy Grace's stuff as well. Because, and I'll just say this. Maybe Nancy spoke over my intelligence level completely. But that satire wouldn't sound like satire today. That satire started seeming like it was a pivot. That she don't seem like she wants the stress, and it seems like somebody started knocking on Nancy's door and started saying, "Hey, Nancy, you better chill out. You want to retire, don't you? You want to have a nice retirement check, right? Don't let this be the thing that sends you in retirement and you can't come into retirement ever. You're going to have to retire, but you can't retire." All right, y'all. Let me move. Again, if you're not on YouTube, you're going to miss a lot of the videos. Make sure you click the link in my bio. It'll take you right there. We're going to go ahead and go to the top of this interview with Warren, Jax, Morgan, and Ed. That's his name? Ed Weenie.
Regular life, young guys being in college, having a typical experience, then you lose your friend.
I think like ever since it happened, my life just like hit like a hole. Like even going out.
All right, I'm just gonna skip through this.
We have Ed Pausick, Warren, Jax, and then we have Morgan here. And so I talked to Warren last time I was here. We had a really deep conversation, and I'm glad that we were able to get other perspectives now that we have Ed here. Ed is a defamation attorney. And I want to start with you, Ed. Why did you choose to work with the boys? What is your plans? What do you expect to get out of working with them? What's your expectations when it comes to defamation?
Well, I think an injustice in one place is an injustice everywhere. I hate lying. I care about the truth, but most of all, it's the actual people who are involved here. So first of all, I just want to say Tyler Cox really welcomed me here, my co-counsel.
So I want to go ahead and kind of walk down some of this stuff because again, I watched it, but I want to be able to break it down as we're going. The first thing that kind of frustrated me with this, and I tried to be objective when watching this. I truly did. But I just don't like when people are selling an image, right? You're trying to put on this tough guy kind of act. And I will say this. I was a little disappointed with because they always talk about, and I'm not saying this in a hateful manner at all, but the far right, the people that we see every day that go crazy on certain platforms, they always call certain things bisexual lighting, but they used it here. They tried to dress this up, and I didn't understand the dressing up of all this. If this is supposed to be a serious moment that you're trying to convey to everybody that this is not a game, this is not something that we're supposed to be playing with. I also gave them a little leniency in this one because I realized it's a Griff series. So this is just episode 1 of the Griffathon. So I'm going to give them some grace. That way we can get all the way to the end of the Griffathon. So we're going to see them griff as hard as they can. Who knows? Maybe they have a deal with Tatum to get a percentage of the proceedings. And they can grift all the day long. But that's what I just kind of wanted to preference before going in and fully get into this. But let's go ahead and continue.
He's an incredible human being, and he's an incredible attorney. And
what kind of flag is that on his shirt? It's the American flag. It's just shaped like a fish, I don't see nothing wrong with that. I mean, obviously it's I'm not even gonna say that. I'm just, good American boys.
And after that, I had an opportunity to meet these incredible young men. And I just got to say, these guys are unbelievable. Warren, Jackson, Morgan, they're just beautiful people. They're really decent human beings. They're just great people. And, that's why I'm here, because I want to help great people. And this is a very sad situation, but it's also a very human situation. And it's a tragedy.
So you guys have, obviously before this happened, I would assume you're living a regular life, young guys being in college, having a typical experience. Then you lose your friend, Nolan. And after that, what has life been like for you guys?
I think ever since it happened, my life just hit like a hole, it just stopped. And I mean, we just gotta live day by day from now on.
I could say definitely a whole flip upside down for our lives. It's like even going out, we're always paranoid somebody's gonna see us, get spotted, try to beat us up potentially, or even worse.
Now I will say that the getting beat up thing was a little wild to me. Maybe that's just maybe that's just me, and maybe I'm being an asshole. But they don't really look okay. So I just want to point something out real quick. Look at the gentlemen's faces. Who looks like they haven't eaten? Does anybody look like they haven't eaten versus everybody else looks like they're probably well rested, getting good naps, getting good sleep? See, I used to not to believe certain things when I was younger, but they used to say when your conscience is not free, that it just taints the soul. And that man, I don't know, maybe he's always looked like that and I just haven't noticed it, but if I had to be a gambling betting man, I would say he looks like he has lost some significant weight. He doesn't look healthy. And again, maybe I'm tripping, but the other two guys, this is why when I look at these type of things, right? Body language to me doesn't always mean everything. And I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all on why. It does, but it doesn't. A lot of times when people are on camera, if it's not something that they're accustomed to doing, they're gonna freeze up. They're gonna tense. So you may not see true signals just immediately, right? I'm not saying it may not be there, but it's gonna be a little bit harder to weigh it. And I'm gonna point out those moments where there's times where Warren does things and you could think that's off of guilt, but I think it's more so the amount of stress. Now, I'm not saying that things couldn't add into it, but Jax and Morgan, if they have anything to do with this, it's very, very, very minimum. I feel like some of the stories that they said weren't as drastic as they wanted it to be. Again, maybe that's me being an asshole. Anybody can correct me at any time to let me know that I'm being an asshole. But currently, when I look at this, I have to question it. Alright? So I'm going to go ahead and continue.
We're really just trying to stay low key and not go out as much or anything like that. Yeah.
It's been hard because my friends and I are people. I mean, we like to be out and hang out outside of our friend group, you know, and not being able to like go certain places or, you know, walk around in public because our head's always on a swivel. It's really affected all of us. I mean, especially in like my family's standpoint, my safety comes first. My friends and family safety come first too, and it's been really hard because I'm worried about like my family as well with me, and it's hard, but you know we're just going day by day and just trying to get through every day. You know.
Can you give me some examples of what has happened? Have you guys had things happen online, threats online? Have you guys have any examples of people accosting you or anything?
And also, the thing I want to point out is just pay attention to how many times he uses the word accosted. Accosted, 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 accosted. I could have sworn he said, like, you can make a compilation video of him just saying accosted. And this is what I meant by, like, certain people have the gift of gab, the vernacular, right? People prepare themselves to be able to have these type of conversations that where they can maintain various type of dialogue rather than just a very basic dialogue. What I mean by that is someone that is not expressive with their words, you cannot expect them to be able to be objective. You cannot expect them to ask direct and hard-hitting questions. You can only expect them to be the puppet to the puppeteer. And so it's quite honestly able to clearly see. I mean, it's quite transparent. Someone has their hands physically up Officer Bootlickham's ass and is making him do whatever they want him to do because he doesn't have the ability to do it himself at all. And so this should have been somebody that he tossed it up to and had them do it, but for some reason he thinks he's qualified to handle these type of interviews. And obviously he'll say, oh, I have almost 4 million subscribers. Obviously I'm doing something right. You know, I could say the same thing for somebody that gets on their knees every day and they're living in a mansion somewhere. Just because you could do it doesn't mean it was honorable.
Like that?
Oh yeah, we have had countless death threats online. Been spotted. I'll let you elaborate more on that. Being spotted.
I mean, people have obviously just pointed us out. I mean, as a group and even on a one-on-one setting, I think it's really just like awkward because I don't want to talk about this, and I know my friends don't want to talk about this any more than we need to. You know, we're still mourning one of our best friends' death, and it's hard to speak about it when, you know, like sometimes we just need some alone time, or sometimes we just need to, you know, lay back. And
I'm gonna tell you something else too, and I know I'm stopping a little bit often here, but I want to make sure I'm like pointing out things that I see. I hate that they have been studious of what has been said of them online and have used it in order to come back a second time to use the things that we kind of pointed out and grilled. Because if I'm going to be honest, I can't say that it was better, but I did notice the difference in the way that they handled certain questions. Like now, they're still not showing emotion, right? Like even, let me show y'all. This is what I said. This man looks like a skeleton. I'm not even trying to be funny right now, but that shit has stressed him out so much that he has taken what everybody has said about him on social media and has tried to perfect it that way he can one up it. And to me, that's a problem, because if you have to study something, if you have to practice and be performative, are you trying to tell the truth? Or are you trying to convince us that you're telling the truth?
Not be around all this. And I mean, I've been called out in public, and I haven't been in public that much. I know my friends have had encounters in public. The threats have been insane from, my stepmom and my dad, my mom, just everyone included, like even my brothers and my sisters. And it's just hard. I mean, it's unbelievable where like this has been taken to and the level where this is at.
When you say you've been called out in public, can you give me an example of like, what do you mean? People are threatening you with weapons? People are, not allowing you, denying you service? Because I heard that Trayston, he went to a corner store and they told him his money is not good there. They wouldn't even let him buy Gatorade.
Yeah.
Are you experiencing things like that or something totally different?
No, again, can I ask y'all a question? What country do we stay in? Any takers? Anybody? No, it's not BS. I believe it. But what country do we stay in? USA, right? Lord, please don't. Y'all gonna get my page taken off. Don't say that. Please don't say that. Lord, you're trying to get me taken down, Williams. What are you doing over here? I'm trolling you. So we live in the great United States of America. Okay? In America, we have the ability, or so we've been raised to be entitled to believe that we have the ability to do as we want, to say as we want, and to refuse service to whomever we want without needing a reason, as long as it's not direct discrimination based on sex, based on religion, or based on race. So if they're not discriminating against Tristan for any of those discriminatory reasons, if someone doesn't like your character, if they believe that you're not a good person, if they believe that you're confused about yourself, hell, maybe they don't like this new evolution of people not identifying with what their eyes can see. And I mean that specifically to race and nothing else. Maybe, just maybe, they can do what they want to do because there are no laws against that. And again, for you to be with Officer Tatum, which I think we can all say is a part of the far right, far alt-right, however you want to label it. And so are these young men, because they are fans. Birds of a feather flock together. I think that's fair to assess that. Am I tripping there? I hope not. And I think they would say they're proud. They probably weren't able to vote at the time, but they would have if they could have. And they probably feel terrible of missing out on that moment and opportunity in life. Okay? So you don't want people to be Americans when it affects you. I ran off a live to see if you was on. I appreciate your loyalty and the respect. So isn't that crazy that it's okay when you do it, but it's a problem when I do it?
Right. I wouldn't say like that. I think I haven't been denied, anything, but like Trayson, it's hard to hear from a good friend of mine that he's getting denied a Gatorade and a Red Bull before work and having to, like, he calls me, he's like, dude, you won't believe what just happened. He got called out at Walmart. Someone called him out at Walmart and was like asking him all these questions and trying to press him about it. And it's crazy to me. Like, we live in a very tight-knit community.
Now, we were told that Mississippi is what, 30-40% black? I do want to know what he was being pressed about. Was he being pressed over the Nolan stuff, or was he being pressed about the identity crisis? This is why I would have loved to hear Tristan back up here, but for some reason he didn't find it to be a good idea, but Warren did. Again, people are allowed to have change of hearts, but I would have loved to, not really, but since we did this little group-a-thon, the gang's all here, I would have liked to hear from some other people, but we're gonna go ahead and listen to Paxton, Morgan, and mostly Warren talk about, and their attorney. I'm not gonna lie, his hat's kind of crazy. Be mature there. Be mature, dummy. Be mature.
And for people to, push back and say these things when they know what Ocean Springs is like, it's really hard. And I mean, I haven't had many personal encounters, but I know being around the guys and stuff like that, they have. So.
And Ed, as an attorney that's representing these boys, I mean, what does that make you feel like? Do you feel like you got a good case here, or what's your perspective in that? Because people are online, and
see, because I'm gonna show y'all. That's how I know. Either if it's not me that they're watching, it's somebody else that's breaking down what they're doing, how the camera angles are going. Because this was way better edited. For one, way better edited. The other thing that I noticed immediately is they cut less off of them. Like, all the cuts were always on them. Like, I'm just gonna be honest. Production design, I don't want to see the back of your head, bro. I don't want to see the back of your head, bro. Still make it an interview. It's okay to cut in between things, but I don't need to see them the entire time, because these are not the people that I even want to see talk. Y'all should have did that the first time. And if you really want me to believe any of the shit from the first one at this point, just put out the raw footage and let it run. Let it be how it is. Well, if it's all 6 hours, I promise you, somebody like me will watch it all 6 hours. I would love to. I encourage you to put it out. But I don't think you will.
Obviously, they know who you are. Obviously, they know you represented Donald Trump in some pretty high-profile cases. And so now that you've joined, or at least now you work for the young men here, you hear them say things like they've been accosted, they've been, threatened online.
They go that word accosted again. Again, listen to how many times he says that damn word.
Does that make your case a greater case, or how do you work within what's happening to these young men?
Well, unfortunately, I wish there was no case. I wish this hadn't happened. But unfortunately, because these things did happen, there is a case, and now there's multiple cases. And I'm going to tell you something. If you're out there and you lied about these guys, you lied about my guys, you lied about Tyler's guys here, if you lied about Morgan, if you lied about Jax, if you lied about Warren, we're going to get you. And you're going to be hauled into court, you're going to be held accountable, and it's going to be very painful. And what I would say to the people who have done that is, now's your chance. If you want to apologize and retract before you find yourself in court, you should probably do that now.
All right. So this is right. We've got to quit, guys, right here. This is the end. This is the end of the show. We can't do nothing else because, he said so. Master said we can't talk no more, y'all. Master gonna beat us. Master's gonna take us in front of the courtroom, in front of the judge and all the other jurors. And Master gonna beat our ass. No, Master. Toby good nigga. Toby good nigga. Toby listen to Master. We want no more, Master. I apologize. I will never criticize ever again, Master. I'm sorry, Master. I just don't understand. Oh, what do you want from me? I'm tripping, ABC. I'm tripping. Let's trip together then. Cause I feel accosted. Look, I'm trying to be serious, y'all. Hold on. I gotta be serious. I've been trying to be locked in. I'm trying to. I'm trying not to. I don't want to be sued. I'm scared now, y'all. They putting the shackles around us. I don't want to be beat. Please don't beat me. Don't beat the child, Mabel. Don't beat her.
Because if you don't do that, once you're in court, now you just can't leave. You won't be.
Now you can't leave. Y'all heard him? He even said it in the slave talk. Now you can't leave, boy. You're never going back anywhere, boy. Now you can't leave. Hold on. Did I hear you right?
Able to get in court, do that now. Because if you don't do that, once you're in court, now you just can't leave.
Now you can't leave.
You won't.
He did say it. I'm moving on. I'm done. I don't want to be sued, bro. I don't want no problems, big fella. we gonna delete dummy talk tonight just for you, bro. Just cause you told me to, Master.
Won't be able to get out of it.
I made sure every time y'all see this cornball, y'all be like, "What's up, Master? Yes, sir, Master. Yes, sir."
And we're not going to name names because there's some other folks who are doing that, and we want to be better than that. And I want to emphasize this, right? We're not here to guess. We're not here to speculate. We're only going to deal in facts, right? And here's the.
I'm gonna let him keep talking. But I just want y'all to know he said he only deals with facts. So as long he even got the hand position right. We only deal with facts. We won. We won bigger than ever before. No one has ever won like us. Y'all see the hands? If y'all were on YouTube, you would see what I'm talking about. His hands are literally tiny hands. Look at me.
The most important thing, right? We don't know how Nolan Wells died. No one here is saying we know. But what we do know is Morgan, Jax, and Warren had nothing whatsoever to do with Nolan Wells' death. And that's what's important. And unfortunately, because there are people who want to divide a town and come in from the outside and tell people what to think and pit neighbor against neighbor, it compounds the tragedy. It magnifies the tragedy.
I want to say this because it was something that on a serious note, this is something that I actually noticed. Again, I don't believe in threats. But like I've told you guys, and it finally dawned on me, but Jax was like, okay, they spent the night at your house. Cool. There might have been a little bit of discrepancy about the keys with the father. You know what? I told y'all, I would be in a heightened emotional state at that point too. So I don't really blame any. That's why I kind of was like Jax was, and I know some of you probably thought I was being a little too lenient on it, but I was like, Jax doesn't really matter to me. Like, he's not a big factor. Even as I watch him, I mean, he's fidgeting like a mother. Like, you know what I'm saying? He playing with himself, you know, with his hand inside himself. Like, he just, you know, doing all that. But hold on, I got to sneeze. Strawberries. All right, there it went. Had to hit a little, you know, I ain't gonna say that on camera. So yeah, that's about the most he's doing. Morgan, I didn't understand the reason why he was being brought up at all. Like, he seems the most calm and like out of place. So most he's like putting his hand into his pockets, but that's teenager, young man type of thing anyway. Like, when I was that age, I kept my hands in my pockets all the time. But they were never the problems that we had in this case. That's why, like, I didn't understand what he was kind of saying.
Against neighbor,
And then it dawned on me. Oh, it's not the outside people that's doing this. They're in Ocean Springs. So apparently Ocean Springs doesn't really look out for Ocean Springs unless you're talking about Ocean Springs is now looking out for Nolan Wells. It looks like Ocean Springs turned its back on maybe the kids that were the little brats their whole entire lives, and they know their character. Because how would we know anything about Morgan, Seymour, or Jax if we're thousands of miles away and we don't talk about any of them at all? They're irrelevant to us. Come on, kinfolk. Who do we talk about? Who does every influencer talk about except for probably the batshit crazy ones? It's Wyatt, Bart Shiesty, my bad, Warren, Katie. There might be like one more in there. Yeah. See body bag. Tristan not even a part of it. We really be on Tristan as about other reasons that's really irrelevant to this case. Ava's a bystander in a sense. We haven't really cared about those people. So why would their whole friend circle be being attacked and threatened? One or two things only make sense to me. Either one, you're lying, or two, the people in your city know who y'all are, and deep down inside, they know y'all whole friend group would be with a whole bunch of bullshit, and probably know deep down y'all families been doing some bullshit to the citizens there. Let's talk about Dr. Benjamin Hudson owing $30 million in court. So maybe everybody just hated y'all already, and y'all thought y'all were loved because you were rich. And then when the first thing that came out, that somebody could point their finger at you and truly let their hate be justified for you, well then goddamn, it came out right then and there. Because then they not just going to extend it to you, they going to extend it to everybody that you hang around, because that's the only reason why I can find a logical, rational reason why your entire friend group of names that we've never heard about, talk about, or concerned about are getting hate. It ain't like we talking about people coming out of California, Seattle, New York, Texas to come bully y'all. No, we talking about people in y'all home city that y'all grew up with looking at y'all like, man, y'all. I ain't do that. I ain't tell none of them people say fuck you. I ain't say that. So how y'all been living in Ocean Springs? Because this seemed a little bit deeper to me. Maybe I'm reading in and shit. But the psychology is, if my family and friends in any of my cities heard something, they probably be like, that's not his character. It would have to be something that goes inside of my character. And anything that's inside of my character, it would have to be me doing something to somebody that was also equally as loved in my cities. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense.
Compounds the tragedy. It magnifies the tragedy. And I just want to say this. Here's why it's an even bigger tragedy. Because my friends here, Morgan, Jax, and Warren, these guys are not just the finest that Ocean Springs has to offer, finest that Mississippi has to offer. These are the finest young men that America has to offer. You know, really great people. And Tyler actually taught me good Ocean Springs people. That was one of the first things I heard when I got here. So I'll just say that they're good Ocean Springs people.
Sorry to interrupt. I know you're enjoying this incredible interview. Make sure you hit the like.
He's gonna start having to name the Griff King. Y'all give Princess Griff King a round of applause and go subscribe to his channel.
And subscribe button, and also join our membership program. Let's get back to the interview. And how confident are you? Because you just met these young men more recently. And are you confident that these young men had nothing to do with it?
Confidence not a strong enough word. In fact, beyond a reasonable doubt is not strong enough. There's a 0% chance that they did anything
Red flag.
wrong. So this is not 90%. It's not 99%. It's not 99.9999. There's no decimals. There's no anything. It's 100%. 100.000%. Nothing.
Impossible. Impossible. This is what we call hyperbole. Y'all know what hyperbole is. Over exaggerating things that are just not true. 100%. There's nothing that's 100%. I mean, other than 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 is 100%. But to say that if that was the case, if there was a 0 chance, then why are we lying? Why do we have attorneys investigating? Why do we have attorneys returning to the scene of the crime? You know, matter of fact, all attorneys never return to the scene of the crime unless there's an indictment. Because you have to build a case. So what case are we building here if you had to return all the way to the physical island? Any takers? Why is there no freaking autopsy or grand jury communique? We're going to get into that, but I can name a million reasons why. The police want to keep everything quiet. I mean, Chris Cuomo said something interesting. He said that from his sources, they're saying that it's a drowning. That there's traces that just show clearly that it's a drowning. But drowning is still not primary. You still have to rule out other options of how that person drowned. How did that person drown? How fast did they drown? Time of unaliving. All those things matter.
They did nothing wrong, and that's the problem for our opponents here, who have ruined their lives, dragged them through the mud, and attacked them. You don't get to lie. We have a First Amendment. We love our First Amendment, but you don't get to lie and hurt people.
Okay. Well, let me ask you something, Mr. Attorney, and you should know this. In order to prove this is a lie, what has to happen? This has to go through its full process. Because even if there's no criminal charges brought up against you, that doesn't mean that you've been vindicated. It just means there may not be enough, may or may not be enough evidence, or may have been enough things cleaned up. Whatever conspiracy you want to go with. Right? But do you really want that to go to an actual courtroom? Do you really want discovery? Do you really want depositions? Do you even plan on getting it to that point? Or do you plan on filing a whole bunch of bullshit to keep it from going that way? Because even with $200,000 for a high profile attorney, I don't think that's going to get you many cases in civil court. It's almost like you're expecting to go after all 88 creators, 88 plus creators, and expecting all of them to settle out of court the first day. How realistic is that? Now I get it. They're probably thinking most people don't have the resources to battle against attorneys. Obviously, the state does not have to provide you an attorney when it is a civil matter. But I'd be curious to see how many attorneys, provided you're not doing something completely idiotic to obviously put yourself in a bad position, but how idiotic would you be to go after, let's say 80 out of those 88 people are broke as shit? I'm never going to go after 88 people who are broke as shit. I'm not even finna go after 80 people that only make $1,000 a month off they shit. Because that person may just be able to figure out how to chat GPT, and they're not going to be able to, but you may end up dealing with somebody that just ends up doing a whole bunch of shit in the docket to where they don't even understand what's going on. Or you might have people that might represent them, and then now you're wasting resources on nothingness. So I get it. You're going to hit the people that actually matter, and you're going to scare those people. You're going to hit Nancy. You're going to hit Don Lemon. You're going to hit Benjamin Crump. You're going to hit Christine Wells. You're going to hit who's the other big one? Al Sharpton. You're going to hit all the big players. That way you can get all the smaller ones to shut up. Sure, Judge Mathis. Anybody that's using... And see, the thing is, you can only attack the smaller ones because the smaller ones like me are the one with the most reckless mouths. The ones that actually have to pay for their attorneys and they're on retainers and that actually takes out of their retirement fund. Those people are going to be a little bit more skeptical, nervous about how they step onto the scene with all this because they don't want to have to deal with the long-term ramifications of what a civil suit looks like with someone that decided to put on their forehead called cock. That's a crazy thing to have on a hat to say call cock. Different strokes for different folks.
You want to lie and it doesn't hurt people? Fine. You lie and you hurt people, that's why we have defamation. And that's what this is about. So I just want to emphasize this in the strongest possible terms. Zero wrongdoing. Completely innocent. Totally innocent. And categorically innocent.
Everyone keeps asking me how I do my podcast alone.
You guys have had experiences with either people threatening you online. I know that, Warren, we talked about this before, and we talked a little, or at least spoke a little bit about when you go out, you guys are getting accosted by people. Can you give us an example of...
Goes that word again. Accosted. How many times is that, kinfolk? 3, 4 times? Limited vernacular.
Or at least tell the audience an example of an incident where you guys may have been accosted, or what is
What is that now, 4 or 5 times? Accosted.
that look like when you go out? People threaten you with weapons?
Yeah, man, what the shot say? Every time we say accosted, let's take a shot.
People trying to physically harm you, or people having to be restrained? What kind of engagement is happening when you guys go out?
We went to a restaurant, a couple of buddies of mine, and when we were, I wouldn't say threatening with weapons or anything, but I felt, and I know my friends felt, threat for our lives.
Scary. Excuse me. Scary. You scary. You scary. I'm allergic to scary. That's why I started sneezing. Thank you for the blessings, but scary. But I know for a fact you couldn't go to the hood. You said they ain't have no weapons? None? I gotta hit the plies real quick. None. You ain't have no weapons. None. None at all. Nobody was threatening you with nothing. No. Not you. You was scared of what? You was scared because they was looking at you. That can't be right. That's like ooh, I ain't trying to get bad.
I mean, I don't think there was like a fear factor, but at the same time, like it's awkward in public. Like I stated, like when we have to talk about these things. But we went to a restaurant and someone came up to me and was like, "Is this you?" And I was kind of like,
mind you, this was a woman. Let me say it again to TikTok too. Let me remind you that it was a woman. No disrespect to the women out there, because you know you put a strap on a woman's hand, she's just as dangerous as a man. But as a man, ladies, let me ask y'all something. If you were trying to date a man and he told you a woman came up to him and asked him, "Is this you?" And he was like, "Oh my God, I'm scared. I got to get out of here." How would that make you feel? Y'all finna be in love with that boy, or you finna dry up like the Sahara Desert? You let me know. I don't want to speak for the ladies in here. I just want to know. Is that would you be proud of that being your man? You wouldn't be dating. You would be that. Is that my man? My man? My man? My man? A woman. Fellas, you with your homeboy, you with your dog, and a woman come up to him like, "Is this you?" And he like, "Man, hey bro, we gotta go. We gotta get up out of here." What you finna do? Man, tell me. What's going through your mind at that exact moment? Mothers. What would you do if you was out to eat with your son and somebody came up to your son and it was like, "Oh my God, is this you?" And he like, "Mama, we gotta go." Fathers, how disappointed would you be if a young lady came up to your son and was like, "Oh my God, is this you?" And he's like, "Daddy, we gotta go. I'm in fear for my life. I'm finna go find a .45 caliber. Go walk myself in the middle of the woods and say, 'Jesus, forgive me, for I do not know what I do. I'm coming home. I'm coming home.'" I would be so embarrassed, ashamed, humiliated. Did I say embarrassed? I would have to permanently tuck it when I walk. This is why I say maybe I'm the asshole here, because I can't imagine. I can't imagine. If a woman came up and like, "Is this you?" I'm like, "Damn, I'm famous. Shit. You want an autograph, baby?" "No, you unalive Nolan." I just asked you if you wanted the autograph. I ain't asked you about the bullshit now. If innocent, why so guilty? If innocent, why so
Shaken up about it.
guilty?
Well, at first she asked like my name and like all these questions, and I was like, okay, whatever, she's just coming up to talk. Well, then she came up to me again and showed me our first interview and was like,
So that's why he looked like that. That man really scary. He looked like a ghost. The ghost of Christmas past came in and been shocked, man. Nolan been in that boy body telling him, ooh, nigga, you going to jail. Ooh, you going to prison. Ooh, you know what you did to me. I know what you did last summer. Stop lying. Stop.
are you sure this isn't you? And I was like, well, yeah, that's me, like, obviously. And she kind of just, I looked at my buddy and I was like, yeah, we're leaving, like close everything out.
I'm sorry, bro. That sends me. No, bro. Close the check. We gotta go. She just spotted me, bro. We gotta go. Like, what? Nah, I think he told the truth, Teresa. I think. I think he dead ass serious. Nah, he ain't eat. That's why he looked like he. You know what? I almost said something that was very disrespectful. Nah, he ain't eat. You see how he look? That man is not the gingerbread man no more. He is stick figure. What have I missed? Yeah, me being serious. You missed me being serious. I was serious for like a good 30 minutes.
Like we're going, and I left, and there was an altercation after I left with some of my buddies that weren't involved in this at all, and they told my friends that they were gonna kill them and they wanted to fight and all this like crazy stuff. I mean, I wasn't there, but my friends told me this, that what the people were saying to them was like totally just crazy. Like, I mean, there was people like that were, outside of this telling us like, hey, you need to leave before something happens because I know what could go down right now. And like, I know that these people are crazy. So, I mean, we all felt, we were kind of shaken up about that. It was weird because it was our first encounter as a group. And I think it's also like just crazy that people will like look at you in the eye and tell you they'll kill you because
Nah, it wasn't people, it was a woman. A woman with a cell phone that was asking all them questions. I'll be doing what you're doing tomorrow on 2 drives and 6 fair rides. Ooh, you be doing too much. Yeah, I just don't understand, y'all. Like, I could understand if 2 or 3 people came up to you like, man, hey, what's up with that Nolan shit? I might be a little pressed too. I still got, if I'm in a restaurant, I got a couple chairs I can throw and whack somebody across the head with. I'm getting about that bit. I'll poke you in your throat. I mean, with that, you know what I'm saying? I might be admitting to a crime. Anyway, no, for real, I was upside down twice. It was over with, bro. Yeah, I'm too old for that shit unless it's at Six Flags. My son's unalive got D threats too. Hey, look, man. People are not stupid. And that's the part that I hate is that they try to just make it seem like we just all stupid. Like, they were like, yeah, this is a national issue. Like, no. There's people watching from Portugal. There's people watching from Sudan. There's people watching from South Africa, South America. But y'all are internationally known. You just telling me people all around the world besides races are just like, nah. I cracked up when they said they were sick. Bruh, of a woman, Asia. Imagine you out. This is what I was telling the kinfolk. Imagine you out with a date. And your date in the middle of it has a woman come up and be like, oh my God, is this you? He like, oh my God, we got to pack it up, Asia. We got to go. My life is in danger.
believe you killed your best friend and you have nothing to do with it.
And Morgan and Jax, were you guys there?
Yes, we were there.
I was there.
I didn't hear the part where they said they were gonna kill him and stuff, but I did hear whenever she came up to him originally, she was like, "Hey, you have like TikTok or anything
Yeah,
like
that's
that? Your
face
face looks really familiar." And he was like, "No, I don't have TikTok or anything like that." And she was like, "Oh, okay." and then walked off, and then came back with, like you said, the interview, the first interview.
Again, this and then this is the crazier part. Look, okay, I'll be objective. Let's say he was just by himself, kinfolk. Let's just say he was by himself. It was just still got me fucked up, but I'm gonna be objective a little bit. Let's just say he was by himself and the woman spooked him, right? Maybe she was like 6'3", maybe she could bench like 255 pounds, like 25 times, like NFL compound type build or whatever, and she came up and said that, right? Cool. Maybe there's some reason why you'd be fretful. You telling me that he this is why I said you gotta listen to the context. He was there with a group of his friends. So you telling me group in my head means at least 3-4. Yeah, what's up, Corey? You got 3 or 4 of y'all are scared of one woman. Am I being sexist? Please let me know if I'm being sexist right now. Because maybe I'm underestimating the power of a woman. Am I tripping? Am I sexist? Am I being misogynistic right now? That 3-4 men are scared of one woman? I think she was with people because he said in an altercation afterwards. Okay, maybe the word was Katrina. That's fair. Maybe Bubba and D were in the background ready to whoop some ass. Maybe that's what happened. Because I personally am not understanding how a group of young men get ran up out of a spot by one woman. See, we got to create them award. We got to do an award ceremony now. The Bitch of the Year award goes to... We got to get a plaque of the dude running for Ricky. The Scariest Nigga award goes to... Hey, we gotta call it. We gotta call it the PUSSY award show. Or what about the Biggest Loser? Hold on, we gotta come up with a name for the award show. Oh man, Nikki, go somewhere now.
On her phone and showing him, she was like, so this isn't you. Either you have a doppelganger or this is you. And he was like, well, yeah, that's me. And then we got the check and we bounced and we were waiting outside for everybody else to get out of there. And while we're waiting outside is whenever some of our other buddies that aren't even on social media that we were just there with was getting told that other people were going to kill them and all that kind of stuff.
So how did that make you guys feel did you think they were serious? Did you think it was just people trying to make a name for themselves by confronting you in front of others? Like, what was your take on that, Morgan?
I think it was just like, I was in the general area of where one of our buddies was, where this altercation happened. And
get it out, bruh. It's all of them. They have like a problem getting their words out. I really don't get it. Like, do all of them have no disrespect to anybody with a speech impediment, but apparently they have some type of, like, it's consistent. Like,
I actually got into a conversation with
Okay, this is one thing I actually wanted to talk to you about, guys. I didn't understand that wording. Can somebody break that down for my dumb ass? I need help. I got into a conversation with somebody. What in the actual flippity dippity fuck does that mean? Any takers?
fellow next, and I actually got into a conversation with a fellow.
I actually got into a conversation with a fella. You got into an altercation. You got into an argument. You got into a debate. You got into a conversation. What does that mean?
Next to me that wasn't even involved, and he told me straight up, he was like, if I was y'all right now, I would leave before y'all get hurt. Y'all need to leave right now. I'm just watching out for y'all.
Now that sounded like a bold-faced ass lie. Maybe he's telling the truth, and maybe again I'm being a little hater. Maybe I'm being immature, but that sounded fake. That shit fake. That's exactly what that sounded like.
And making sure y'all are safe. And I mean, I wouldn't say that those people would have physically done something in that moment.
You better get out of here, boy. But I don't think they would have really did nothing to us.
But I think they were playing like almost like a mental game, like just to get into your head and just almost like make yourself like just think these things that obviously are not true.
If you can go back to the very beginning of this, how do you think this should have played out? Because I always question in my mind that when I go back, I look at what happened, I look at the initial stories with Nolan, and you guys knew him, right? I didn't know him. I know none of you guys. I just had a chance to meet you guys more recently. But how do you think this should have gone? If you could control the environment, Nolan is found deceased. How do you guys think that this should have been put out to the world?
So first off, I wish that none of this would ever happen. I wish Nolan could still be here with us today. And I wish that, like I said, none of this would ever happen. Like I wish that all this could be erased and Nolan could be here tomorrow. I mean, that's more than anything. But other than that, I feel like his mom blasting us on social media from the get-go, saying that he was out there with Warren and another guy.
When did that happen? Can anybody tell me when that happened? Y'all show me the interview. Can y'all tell me the day? Are we about to have an incursion? If y'all don't know what incursion is I'm not a comic book person, but you know they having a little doomsday movie, and it's supposed to be when like two universes clash into each other and realities blend. I guess that's like the simple way of saying it. Are we having one of them? Is the Marvel movies actually becoming real life? Because I don't remember that reality where I don't. So now I gotta go back and watch Miss Christine and what she said, because woe is me like a motherfucker. Like, and it just makes me angry because the more I had watched this interview, and mind you, I watched this without watching her body language. I didn't watch it for that. I watched it while listening to their voices. I was actually driving when I was watching this or whatever, right? And I'm listening to it, and it started out strong. Obviously, there's some things I was in there like, yeah, blue blue da blue ka booska blaka buka. But it was the part where he said this specifically. That I said, this is no longer about right versus wrong. No, you have now begun to attack a grieving mother by, but like how it's no longer about fact versus opinion. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't understand how Miss Christine directly cannot sue him right then and there for defamation. That is actual defamation. You're lying, saying that this lady is the reason why your lives are held. Can I be honest with you guys? Can I just keep it a bean right now today? Maybe I'm doing too much right now. But I don't remember a single story coming out with Miss Wells until after his body was found. Yeah, I had heard about this story almost immediately after it happened. Like, as soon as the whole police stuff, I heard about it. What, he went missing on the 4th? We heard about it on the 5th. I'll replay it. We never heard Miss Christine. We just heard about it because it hit the news, because it was already crazy. Black teen, and yeah, media might have made it racial, even though the media conglomerates are owned by right-wing people. And then if you know anything about businesses, and this applies to all businesses give equal amount of money to both political parties. So it's never like it's ever been media is going to be leaning this way or leaning whichever way. They lean towards power. It's always been true. So I'm just trying to figure out why tell that absolute lie. I'm gonna play it back.
Our media, but erase and Nolan could be here tomorrow. I mean, that's more than anything. But other than that, I feel like his mom blasting us on social media from the get-go, saying that he was out there with Warren and another guy. That's where it first started to take off. And then also the fact that she posted a picture of me and Morgan and another guy and Nolan on the boat together, blasting that out there.
Just go ahead and say the name. Other guys, Eric. Why? You know, some people wanted him to talk. I don't think he's relevant either. But let's can we fact check that? Let's fact check that. We're off to see the wizard, motherfucker. Okay, hold on. Let me get y'all off of there real quick. Give me one moment. I just want to fact check this, y'all. I'm going to go to Instagrams. Check out my Instagrams. All right. So we're going to go to Miss Christine. What is it? Yep, here she goes right here. So I be needing to see everything. All right. So this was on July 5th. We were provided with incorrect information regarding what he was wearing. I sent this picture. As you can see, he was in blue swim trunks, not black. May I offer something for a moment? Now, why would Miss... See, lack of empathy will lead you down a very dark road in this life, unfortunately. And so, I'm trying to remember whose page did we see it on. Was it Ava? Was it Ava, y'all? It was Ava. Oh, maybe it wasn't Ava. Oh, well, if I'm being objective, Christine wrote this. So I have to be objective. Now, I don't know what went on there. That could just be, again, a grieving mother trying to find her son. But I can't argue it. So Kinfolk, does he have a point? Y'all let me know. Kinfolk, if you want to see what I'm talking about, just click the link in my bio. I'm on YouTube right now. We're just looking at what Miss Christine Wansley wrote. What she wrote was, please be on the lookout for Nolan. Last seen was on the west tip, north side of Horn Island, today around 3 p.m., July 4th. Wearing black shorts and sunglasses. Unclear if he made it back on land. Please message me if you've seen him. And Miss Christine wrote that. She also wrote on her Instagram, we were provided with incorrect information regarding what he was wearing. I was sent this picture. As you can see, he was in blue swim trunks, not black yesterday. I'm just bringing out the information. I'm not saying I agree. I ain't saying I disagree. Just asking y'all, does he have a point? Does he have a validation in the way that he feels? I personally think if somebody's looking for their son, you gotta give him a little bit of grace. That's my opinion.
They're pushing this narrative, kind of, I guess. I wish that would have never happened either, and I don't think if those would have never happened, a lot of this stuff wouldn't have been as viral or gone all over the country at this point. I mean, this is a countrywide news story that is just blown out of proportion.
Nah, baby, y'all international superstars. I don't even think y'all could go to Africa and not be known. I think everybody wanna talk to you boys, but that's just my opinion. And I just think they want to talk. I don't think they want anything bad to happen. I think they just want to talk, baby. Yeah.
And the fact that it was our best friend and it's not what people are saying it is what hurts the most. I mean, that was our brother. I mean, straight up. That's what I told his dad the night that he came over to my house. He was like, blah, blah, saying something. I was like, dude, that was my brother. Like, and you know that. He knows that. We were picking him up every single day. He never drove. I can't tell you how many times I pulled up in his driveway and picked him up.
How many of y'all have siblings? Anybody? Anybody have siblings? Anybody? Any takers? See, the problem that I have is because I have siblings too. And anytime that my brother or my sister, well, rarely my sister ever asks me for anything, but when my siblings ask me for things, I don't tend to try to remember those things to throw it in their face. But hey, maybe that's just me.
And it wasn't him asking. It was just because that's what we did. We just picked up Nolan all the time. That's how we, came about to all the stuff that we were going to. We'd go and pick him up. That's how much we like to be around him. We would do stuff like that all the time,
Well, first off, like I wish we would have never, like I think about this every day. Like I wish we would have never went out on the 4th of July because I know this wouldn't have happened. Nolan wouldn't be gone, and like it's really hard to think about because it's like.
I have a problem with that.
I wish I would be gone and out on the 4th of July because I know this wouldn't have happened. Nolan wouldn't be gone, and like it's really hard to think about because it's like I wish I would have done this different, or I wish I would have done that different. Just I think about.
Can I share to you all why that's a very damning statement, in my opinion? I wish I never would have went to the island. Not, I wish I never would have left Nolan behind. What that spoke to me is, and again, maybe I'm reaching, maybe I'm stretching my imagination, but that read to me as I should have never let Nolan go. I should have never went myself. I had something going on that day. The people around me had something going on that day, and had I not been there, then Bart doesn't go. If I don't go, then the Palm Beach is not there. And if those 3 scenarios never happen, then whatever happened that everybody witnessed happen doesn't happen. Because if you do this every year as a tradition, there's nothing in you that's gonna be like, well, I shouldn't have went out there that day. Like, no, we do this all the time and nothing ever went wrong. The more rational thing would be, what did I do differently that I normally don't do? And what you claim that you did that you normally don't do is leave someone behind that came with you. You make sure at least they get onto another boat. So my feelings, my emotions would have been, I should have never left my friend. Like if I know my friend and I know I didn't do anything and my friend truly died, I'm not blaming myself for going out to the island. I'm blaming myself for not being there for my brother. Like for not being there for my friend. For letting my friend stay with a stranger, or letting my friend stay with a woman, or letting my friend, whatever it may be, it's I shouldn't have left my friend alone. As long as if I would have been there would have been a second set of eyes on him. Can I bring something else up to you guys that I started noticing earlier today before I watched this interview? Warren is best friends with whom? That he claims? Nolan, right? Him and Nolan are best friends, right? They haven't been hanging out every day. They've been in college. Y'all, if y'all been to college, y'all know how it is in freshman year. You don't really have time to hang out with your boys like you used to. You might still see them here and there, and we don't know if they were still in the same city or not. And regardless, Nolan might have potentially been not in the city no more. That might have been his last day. If you telling me you finna go out and do something where you ain't finna be in the biddy no more, right? You not finna enjoy this good southern living. You're not gonna be around me anymore. I'm finna hang out with you as much as I can. I'm not finna split up with you. And Warren said that he wasn't around Nolan all day because he has other friends out there, but every single time I see Warren, and when I mean every single time, he's with somebody that's in his inner circle buddy group that came on the boat. He was on the Palm Beach. He was on the Tide Line. He was on the Triton. He wasn't on anybody else's boat. We never seen him on anybody else's boat at any point in time. So he was rocking out with his friends, but he wasn't rocking out with his best friend. So why wasn't he rocking out with his best friend? Why was his best friend look like he was the outcast? Like he was accosted. It didn't make sense to me. This is your dog, but you hanging around all your dogs, but your dog not around you? Your dog outside the boat. This who y'all grew up with and y'all cool with, but why is he not on the boat with y'all? Why he not chilling with y'all? Why is every time we see anything with y'all, y'all have distance until there's a physical altercation and then he's close to the vicinity? It seemed like he made sure y'all was safe. But did you do the same for him? Maybe I'm reading too much into
This
it.
every day. Like, I wish we would have never went out on the 4th of July because I know this wouldn't have happened. Nolan wouldn't be gone. And like, it's really hard to think about because it's like, I wish I would have done this different, or I wish I would have done that different, because now one of my brothers wanted to like passed away. But I think from the beginning, I'm glad that I called the Coast Guard, and I'm glad that we came together as a group, even from the first day when people started texting us things, saying, crazy things. But
Again, people texting them things, saying crazy things. That's your friend group. That means that was before we, the people of the United States, had any real information. The people within inside your city was already looking at you like, y'all did what? Bruh, hold on. Tell me exactly what happened. You did what? And we just can't find him now. And y'all, where's his phone? Is where? Where's his keys? Y'all doing what with the keys? So if y'all on, let me just ask y'all this: does anybody have y'all number that y'all don't want to have y'all phone number? Does anybody have y'all phone number right now that y'all don't really want to have your phone number? And if you do have people that have your phone number that you don't want to have your phone number, how many people of them are that have your phone number that you don't want to have your phone number? I can't name a single person. I got over probably 1,000 contacts in my phone, and I don't have a single phone number in there that I don't want to have. My business number. Why you clowning?
I wish it wouldn't have been reported as some type of race thing. I think it's really bad that like people are pushing the narrative of, oh, this is a race thing. Well, obviously it's not. I mean, this is like a brother to us. I mean, Nolan's no different than anyone else in our group. And I just wish this wasn't pushed on the media as, oh, this is a bunch of white guys that killed a black guy, or this is for, like, in the beginning it was like for.
Nah, I'm curious. I know some people have done it, but how many people do y'all really think have made it really like racial? Did Ben Crump at any time make it racial? Again, I don't know. Maybe he did. I don't remember it being made racial. I just remember people saying, if the only thing I remember that where you could say it was racial, if I'm being objective, was when it came out. It was like if it was 3 black kids and the white kid came up missing, would there be more pumping of the brakes of just saying that it was a drowning? Like, when would you go through a full investigation to rule out? I don't think that's racial. I don't think that's I think that's an honest question to ask. If the skin colors changed, would the results be the same? I think that's a fair question to ask. Otherwise, you're in a police state. If you can't ask honest, genuine questions without it being said that it's just race baiting, that's not race baiting. If I'm asking, again, based on the history of this country, Whatever you can try to lie to yourself, but that's why they're burning books by taking they're not physically burning them, but by taking books out of libraries and saying that people can't read it, by trying to take exhibits out of the national historic museums because you don't like the narrative of slavery because it makes you feel a certain type of way. This is what it leads to, is that people don't understand the nuances of history. No one's saying it's racist, other than people are feeling like it's racist because, again, this has happened so many times. And it's like, cool, y'all might be innocent. Let's say y'all are innocent. When you want a full and transparent investigation in order for your friend to prove to the mother that this didn't happen. If I'm Nolan's actual friend, I'm like, look, I understand that y'all believe that I did it. I even take responsibility that I'm culpable to a certain extent because I brought him out there and I should have got him back home. I'm gonna take responsibility and say that's on me. But are y'all really going to sit here and at least not go through the proper investigation? Please do a full investigation. Do not hold back. Please make sure y'all interviewing every last person. I want y'all to let this family know and be clear with them on what's going on with the situation. That way they can be able to move on. Otherwise, they're going to be stuck in grieving. And I care about them being stuck more in grieving than y'all being upset with me. But I'm going to clear my name. Whatever questions you want to ask me, hell, I probably and then if I had influence in the city, I'd probably call a press conference and be like, look, I'm gonna sit up here, and if y'all want to ask me a question, I'm gonna ask a question. I might put myself in front of a bulletproof shield, but I'm still gonna come out there and I'm gonna answer questions. Hey, woo 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 woo, man. Hey, this happened. Woo 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 woo. Hey, this happened. I'm not finna go on to a far right media site and fumble softballs.
Where guys went to a stranded island and dumped Nolan at the island.
And I also don't think that anybody ever thought these four boys or the four boys ever did anything to Nolan. Maybe that was day one. But we're a whole month later. I don't remember. I'd never heard that. But I'm not going to say it didn't happen because obviously this is their first person reality. But I'd never seen that.
Just left him there. Like, even from the beginning, it was just like this thing, and no one had facts, and they were just pushing this horrible narrative, all lies about everyone, and it's sick. So I wish that would have been completely different. I'm glad I called the Coast Guard. I'm glad I made the first contact within all of this. I'm glad I was the first one that called Christine Wells that night and told her that we haven't heard from her son. And I'm glad that I did all of that, but I hate the way this has been perceived by the media and portrayed. This has like been absolutely horrible with the way and the things that they've said to us and done. But other than that, I mean, there's not much I would change from my point of view and my friend's point of view. I think we did everything right, and I know we did nothing wrong.
I think I also want to say, I think it's so criminal that they took something so anti-racist and flipped it into something super racist. Like they took, this is the definition of anti-racism. I mean,
Anti-racist is a crazy word to use. This is the most anti-racist thing it could be. How? What's anti-racism, y'all? Being a black person's friend is not anti-racist. Because you can be friends with one black person and not like black people. I'll give you an example. I can love my dog but hate other dogs. I can love my kid and hate everybody else's kid. People can love the woman that they have fantasies with, but not like women and be misogynistic. A person can love their father, but still hate men and practice misandry. Just because you're friends or associated, affiliated, adjacent to something doesn't mean that you can't hate. And I'm not saying that's what they are. I'm just saying that's not, and I get it. Maybe that's a little 16, 17-year-old brain. I do know they had time to enhance the call to hear the background clearly. I believe they're getting ducks in a row. Yeah, we're going to talk about it at the end when I get done with this.
That we did not look at Nolan any different than I looked at him, or even you. You know,
And I got to rewind that shit back, bro.
this is any different than I looked at him, or even you.
And that's about some of the racist shit you could say right there. So Officer Tatum is now your brother. I look at him no differently than I look at him. Hell, even you. Yo, if I was Tatum, I'd like, what you mean by that? Him, and even you. You can be a part of us too.
You know, this is literally our brother. I mean, like we stated, we did not treat him any different. We didn't treat Trayson any different. We don't treat Trayson any different. And they just flipped it. And I just think that is so wild that they're pushing this thing that they're saying, oh, they want to end racism and all this stuff. Well, they're the one pushing it. They're pushing the racism. And I just think that's kind of crazy.
Morgan, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, man, we didn't off our friend because of racism. It was just an accident, and we don't want to go to prison for it. I feel you, bro. I don't think rational people think that this was just a racist thing directly with you guys. No, I don't think anybody has labeled Warren or Jax or Morgan racist. Do y'all believe? Let's answer that question right now, Ken Folk. Do you believe that at any point in time, any of these gentlemen have presented body language, or anything of the sort of being racist or bigots? And you can be honest, because I don't see them as racist. I don't. But I don't think you have to be racist to be evil. I don't even think if they covered it up that it was racist. You know? Even if they cover it up, I don't see it as racism. Are they far right MAGA 11 kids? Yeah. Could there be some there's the good ones versus the bad ones, and that's a form of racism? I give you that, because I do think that if you like these people over here but you're unwilling to understand why these people over here are bad, then yeah, I think you have a form of racism. It may not be overt, but it might be covert. But do I think you guys are just 1,000% innocent? Not at all.
How
Well,
does it affect you?
If I mean, first I want to say I wish this would have never happened. I wish Nolan would still be here with us today. And but I in my opinion, I think that the media they shouldn't have pushed a narrative from so early. I think that they should have let the local officials do their job, let them release statements, and then, I mean, the media is obviously going to see that and then do whatever they do. But that's what I mean. I trust the local officials.
Ed, with what has
You trust the local officials, but the local officials never got involved.
Transpired, you know, how does that dictate your response? Because you have a 30,000 foot view of all of this stuff, right? You see the way that it could have went, and you see that there's people that instigated the narrative that's out there now. And as a defamation attorney, how does this navigate your tactics?
Sure, and I want to be clear about something. Tonight, I'm not going to give any particular person any more oxygen than they may have already sucked up. But I will say this. What's been said about Morgan, Jax, and Warren, I'm not going to call them untruths or half-truths or falsehoods. I'm going to call it what it is, lies. So the first thing that's really important here is we're dealing with lies and liars. We're dealing with profiteers. We're dealing with hustlers. And one thing that I've seen since I got here is that Ocean Springs, Mississippi, is a really beautiful place. And the region is very beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful places in the country. And there is just no question. The death of Nolan Wells is a horrendous tragedy. But for the tragedy to then be magnified after his death for no reason other than profit is a disgrace, or what we would call a shanda. And I had the opportunity to go to Horn Island today with Tyler and Warren and Jax. And a lot of people who have been sucking up way more oxygen than they're entitled to have not been.
Now, I'll be honest with you. When he said that the first time, I was just like, sucking up way more air than you're entitled to. I didn't. That was the most mustache man thing I've heard someone say. You're not entitled to oxygen. You're not entitled to breathe, y'all. You're not. That's a crazy way to think. You're not entitled to breathe. Did I misread that or mishear that? Why wasn't Bart being mentioned? This is just part 1. I think we'll get part 2, part 3, part 4. What does that mean? Hell, I'm trying to figure out what it means to not be entitled to air. Are you telling us to die? Are you threatening us, Mr. Call Cock? Cause I ain't gonna lie, that's just that hat gets me, boy. There's no way I would have a hat on my head that says Call Cox. You got cock on your head, cock on your forehead. That is crazily insane.
Into the island. I'm willing to bet that a lot of the hustlers and profiteers and liars have not been to that island. And you have to go to that island.
Irrelevant.
And being at the island today was revelatory. It was really illuminating. It's a very dynamic marine environment, first of all. But when you go to the island, you see instantly that what some people want to be true, what they wish to be true, they're trying to wish it to be true. They're trying to make it true through their lies. It's actually not possible. It is a very, very long and narrow barrier island. It's basically very low sand dunes. And in the particular part of the island that we're dealing with, there are no trees. It's hardly any foliage, hardly any tree cover, hardly any plants, and it's wide open. And on July 4th, there were thousands of people there. There is no possible way that anybody could have committed a murder in broad daylight on a barren, windswept island that is narrow and was just swamped with people that day in broad daylight. It's just not possible given the natural environment there.
Unless they all speed out from the island. And then they surround the boat to where you can't see what's going on. It's almost like they weren't around thousands of people. It's almost like they gave 2 different GPS coordinates. That way nobody knew where they were at. It's almost like they were 300 meters away, which is 3 football fields away from everybody. It's almost as if a fifth was a fifth.
And that leads me to the next point, which is this. Once you know what the timeline is, when you combine the timeline with the actual...
Y'all want to see the timeline? I think we remember the timeline. I think we remember the timeline, y'all. What's the timeline? What's the timeline? Oh, kinfolk, y'all can't see. This is why your asses need to be on my fucking YouTube. What's the timeline, y'all? What's that say? What's that timeline? So what he talking about? Hey, he talking about? Hey, he talking about? I don't know what he talking about, y'all. I know we got the timeline. What he talking about?
Dynamics of the island itself, all of the lies completely unravel because it isn't possible, and here's why. Morgan, Warren, and Jax left the island at about 4:30 p.m. That's it. They were gone. That is not open for debate. So that's a fact. They were gone. And at that time, Nolan Wells was still alive. Now, I'm not going to name them out of respect for their privacy, but just...
I'm not going to name them because of their privacy, but yet you bring up Morgan Seymour when nobody was looking for him. So he had complete and utter privacy, but then you bring him up. Why? If it's about keeping people's privacy, why bring it up? Why bring him up? Why bring the nobody up that nobody was talking about up? I can make an argument for Jax. I can. But Morgan? Morgan just looks like the youngest and most attractive out of the group. The one that was seen taking a picture with Nolan on the boat with the little drink. So I'm not buying this.
This is one example. There are 2 very fine, upstanding members of the Ocean Springs community who saw Nolan Wells at about 10 minutes to 6 p.m. So about an hour and a half after these fine young men had left the island. They were gone, departed. Nolan Wells was alive. And these 2 witnesses,
See, that's the thing. Why not just go ahead and put that information on it and put it in the coffin?
very reliable, very credible, and very upstanding members of the community, they saw Nolan. And they've known Nolan for years. There's no chance that they made a mistake. And
do y'all see these little, like their face? Like Warren's looking at him like, please be my savior, bro. Please. Please don't mess up and say anything crazy, bro. Please, you talking too much. We don't have that kind of evidence. Look at them eyes, bro. The eyes say it all. Please. Please, bro, don't mess this up, bro.
by the way, this can be corroborated through other evidence, other eyewitness accounts.
Where?
And that's the end of it right there. And that's before we get into everything else about the situation.
And when I look at this, I feel like there's levels of defamation and areas of defamation. And I'm not going to speak.
Scare tactic. Officer Bootlickum is giving the setup for the scare tactic. And watch it.
On your behalf, because this is y'all's story to tell.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Your story to litigate. But which areas are the most egregious that you are going to go after, or that you guys think also are areas where people have taken this situation and clearly lied to the public? One being the phone call. What is your thoughts on that phone call to Cito? Some people have gone out and done enhancements to the audio, and in doing that, created a transcript manually. It doesn't appear that the transcript was derived from an automated system or have any, in my opinion, real integrity with it. What are your thoughts, first, you guys, on the audio, and then I'll get to you, Ed, on could that be a defamatory area the way it was produced? So what do you guys think about that audio?
So, now technically I have another video to get through, but I'm not gonna be able to get through it tonight because I gotta be up at 7 o'clock in the morning. But I am gonna lead into it. What channel? The link is in my bio, Dummy Talk. But it's just go outside of this live and then you'll look at my bio. And in my bio, you just click that link and it'll take you right to my YouTube. You'll be able to watch the entire thing because it records itself. So trying to do that for you, kinfolk. That way we can make sure that we're staying up to date on everything with each other and that no one misses anything. So like I said, I don't think this was really the interview to really critique yet. Yeah, I was being a little funny. I was being a little facetious. But there wasn't really anything major yet. Now, Asia will have a fresh brain in the morning. Maybe she catches something that I don't catch. When I get done doing what I've got to do, which will probably be around noon, I'll probably hop back on. But the last thing I kind of want to talk to you guys about that really, it makes me a little nervous. Did you see the hat grabbing? I wasn't paying the cadences. I try to take away the body language and just listen to what they're saying. I want to know, is what you're saying even a coherent story? Are we getting the A to B to C to D? And unfortunately, what I was kind of hearing from this interview wasn't really an A, B, C. Like, I was expecting more story. We didn't get more story right now, but it's just the intro. We didn't get much story on the intro on the first one either, so I'm okay with that. Like, we really didn't get the meat of the interview until episode 2, and really not even episode 2. It's really episode 3 and 4 that we got our content, right? And I hate to say it like content, not content like creation, but content as far as like our substance, our meat, the actual crux of the subject. So I don't think we'll get into that until later. And I don't even know how long they made this interview. Like, I don't know if they shot it for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. It's 4 people on there, like a panel. I mean, there's a lot of ways that they could have did it. What's Asia's page? If somebody knows how to actually tag her in it, put it in the comments, but I'm not exactly sure. The last thing I want to touch on, and we'll get fully into it tomorrow, and I don't know if Officer Bootlickum is going to put a... Whoa. Okay, Stargazer. I don't know if I read that out of context, and I just seen green mice. Anyway, briefly, I'm going to talk about Nancy. Like I was saying, Nancy is locking in on this last fight that happened at what, 4:50 or 5:50, something like that. I think they said 10 till 6. And at first I thought she was trolling. I really thought she was trolling. And I'm gonna watch it again with a fresh mind in the morning because I honestly thought she was trolling. But when she started like pushing back on like her guests that she normally has on, and she didn't bring in the people that usually like disagree with her that would agree with her on this one. Like she brought in the people that usually agree with her, and she was disagreeing with them. So I'm like, I'm just gonna show this one part, and I'm gonna show y'all why it really made me look at her like, the fuck is your agenda right now, Shotty?
It's starting to taste like a dirt sandwich. Because, okay, I'm going to let you sit in the corner and think about what you just said. Joe Scott Morgan is joining me, professor of forensics, Jacksonville State University, author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon, star of a hit series, Body Bags with Joseph Scott Morgan. He is a death investigator with over 10,000 death scenes under his belt, deaths of all genre. Joe Scott Morgan, let's refresh Cheryl McCollum's recollection. That's what you say in court when obviously the witness is gone off the rails. Your Honor, pause, Your Honor, objection. May I refresh the witness's recollection? In other words, get it together. Don't you remember what we just talked about before you got on the stand, and you give them a piece of paper and go, can we see that the drawings on the autopsy control room? Joe Scott, there's a big, thank you. There's a big honking mark, subcutaneous, deep reddening tissue on his occipital. If I hit somebody in the back of the head, it'd be right there.
I agree with you, Mary, but what was confusing, Mary had said he was trying to say Nolan needs bruising on his hands if it were an altercation. And he was saying that, you know, I understand what he was saying, but Nancy was saying that he was contradicting himself because she was saying, well, you said that decomposition would get rid of that or whatever. But then it's like, okay, Nancy, then if there's no, and I understood what he was saying, if there's no scratches or abrased, like if you hit something like, even on a microscopic level, I'm going to be able to see some type of scrapage in that. It doesn't matter, like, and again, when you hit another human, like for example, I shouldn't be showing y'all this, but like I'm recovering. Got me a little scratchy scratch. But when you do things, you know, you see, scratchy right there. When you do things, you're gonna get scratches. It's what happens in altercations. But I was understanding her point. That's why I said I thought she was gonna loop it back in, but she still stayed on the okay. He was in the fight later. Like she was almost trying to prove that it can't, like, that he could have been in a fight rather than like, oh, okay, he couldn't have been in a fight. Okay, so, but this still could lead up to him being hit in the back of the head, and this could have happened on the boat. It was just like, so you can see it one way, but you can't see it the other way. So it was pissing me off with Nancy. It's just like, Nancy, I get it if there's another story out there, but if the man is literally proving to you that it's impossible, why are you pushing back? Because now it seems like you have an agenda. Now it seems like you're scared. Now it seems like there's some money in that pocket. And that's where I stopped losing respect. Because was this all the game? Was this all a plan to... Because what did I tell y'all? What did I tell y'all, kinfolk? You can sell things to people that trust you. So if, like, for example, you guys trust me to an extent, right? I'm building my trust. My trust will continuously be built. In reality, it'll be easier for me to sell to people that trust me versus just a random stranger. That's why even like when you pick your sponsors or your brand deals, you're supposed to be able to be an actual fan of that product rather than just taking it for the money, because you would hope that you have enough integrity of what you're selling to somebody that you believe in that product too. Otherwise, you can really ruin your relationships with the people that you've built that relationship with to trust. I'll give y'all another thing. A lot of brands, a lot of YouTubers are being bought out by equity firms because those equity firms may cut a back deal with other, financial brokerage or some type of institution that is leveraging their finances, and so they'll have products and they'll buy into that firm. That way the firm can take said products and place it in front of what they've now bought as an asset as YouTube properties or TikTok properties or Instagram properties, and push the products through those trusted sites that people have been following for 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 years, because it's easier to sell through the people that trust you rather than it is a complete stranger. And so Nancy is very much kind of trusted. Again, you might not, but a lot of people do trust her reporting. They like her, or they love her, they've invested in her. Just like with Don Lemon. I'm not saying anything bad against these people, especially not Don Lemon, because I don't necessarily know his position on a lot of things. I understand that corporate gets a little bit more confusing, and that's why I'm saying even with Nancy, it may just be a little bit tough to keep going down a certain road, and people are threatening big lawsuits. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, the lawsuit is not gonna hit me as hard as it does Nancy. That's just me being real. So she's all right. Trust. I don't know who you trust is up to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like y'all don't have to trust me. Y'all could be like, hey, F dude, he's not trustworthy, and I have to take that. All I'm stating is that is a possibility, because it is weird to me now that it seemed like she was backtracking this entire episode. Like, I'm like, okay, girl. Now? What about now? And she never pivoted. She just kept going and kept going and kept drilling. And then it was disappointing, because I get it if something comes up, but then now if it's being refuted, then why are you hanging on to it? You starting to sound like MAGA when they get caught up on one thing, and then when even facts are slapping you in the face like a donkey ding dong, you just continuously want to get slapped by the ding dong instead of pushing it out of the way. And it's hard for me to respect.
We don't know what that is.
No, we don't. But to Cheryl's point, she's accurate. And here's why. Because in forensics, it's not just about positive findings. It's also about negative findings, those things that we are absent. So in that report, as she had mentioned, there was no indication that there was any kind of contusions on the hand, the arm, no kind of defensive event like a parry with a forearm, scuffing of the knuckles, that sort of thing. This forensic pathologist that did the second assessment didn't see any evidence of that. And so that's the first place I'm going to go to, aside from not having the actual primary autopsy report that has not been released yet. But you've got an individual that has, in fact, been retained by the family that's making this assessment. And it's a pretty damn thorough assessment, as a matter of fact, based upon many of them that I've read over the years. You don't see any kind of insults to the arms, the hands, anything like this. The one thing about that thing in the back, this focal area that they're talking about is, and I come back to this all the time, Nancy, is that his body, Nolan's body, is in such a state of decomposition to this point that he cannot make a definitive assessment on that area. And he did a multi-layered dissection, which, by the way, according to him, had not been done by the state medical examiner's office in Mississippi. He just went about it a different way. And as a matter of fact, if you like that one, I got another one. The examination that this physician in DC did on Nolan's remains ranks right up there with the most thorough, hear me talking, the most thorough dissection that you can possibly do on human remains. It's the same one that we do on bodies that have died, individuals that have died that have been incarcerated in custody deaths. You know what all that means in the back of a cruiser, in a holding cell, in a prison. Those autopsies rank right up there with the most thorough that we can go. It's a very deep dive that they did on his body.
Joe Scott, you are stating that due to the level of decomposition in Nolan Wells' body, that you can't really figure out why his occipital bone area had deep reddening, and that was seen nowhere else in the body. That's because of decomposition. Isn't that true?
Jerry, you think I got a cease and desist letter? Nah, I didn't get a cease and desist letter. I doubt I ever do, if I'm being quite frank. If I do, I would be surprised, but I doubt I get one. I gotta get my weight up, and I'm not. There's nothing I can do that I'm gonna push myself to be able to get any bigger for this. So, you know. Alright, good. I'm sad though, bro. I feel like they really about to skate free. They're not. They're not gonna skate free. I'm not gonna say how I know that. I'm not gonna say how they're not gonna skate free. But when you have people roaring the way that they are, that autopsy, if it does state that he drowned, they're going to have so much shit on the autopsy to prove that. Otherwise, the people are still not going to pipe down. And it doesn't matter. Every single social media influencer could shut up and not say anything. Before social media, public pressure was already there. So I don't know why it becomes louder with social media, but those folks in Ocean Springs don't like that there's so much attention. And now I know if people start putting protests on the ground of Jackson, on the ground of Ocean Springs, on the ground of past Krishan, that's going to be enough alone to make the people within inside that city turn on them. So,
well, it's true in the sense that that's what
Didn't
the
you just say that?
I'm repeating what the physician said in his autopsy report. I didn't do the examination.
So then that would be a yes. So at that level of decomp that you're claiming could obscure the nature of the deep reddening on his occipital area, but yet on the other.
I don't know. I also don't know how. I get y'all point about Eric because he's the whole messages or whatever. I just can't go down that road for right now with Eric. I need to know more. I'm more concerned with why Wyatt has disappeared. I want to know where Bart is at. Like, them two people. If I hear from and Katie, if they would have brought Katie on the show, like I feel like Katie and Warren were the two people that were supposed to be sitting on the same couch talking. Because if they tell the timeline events and then Katie can show receipts and Warren can show receipts, it clears them. If I'm an attorney, that's the easiest way to clear everybody. And even as an attorney, I'm like, look, if you don't go do this interview, then we're going to throw you the fuck under the bus even harder. So, yeah, I don't know, from a PR standpoint, it don't make sense. And from an attorney standpoint, it doesn't make sense. Other than you are really, truly trying to stroke the racial division within this country. And I do honestly believe that you're trying to stroke the flames to get to basically scare us from a long-term type of thing. Like, Ben Crump don't get involved with any more cases unless it's a surefire racial issue. Like, I think he's unfortunately one day they're gonna try to flog publicly, and that's where it's just like we're not getting flogged anymore in real life. So it's like you're gonna have to flog all of us, and we know that you can't flog all of us. There's more of us individually as a culture than it is them with inside this racist trope. And see, I know some people have this ignorant kind of understanding that they think just all white people are racist, and that's not true. White people are divided amongst themselves as well. And so there's a lot of them that don't agree. They're just not willing to die about it. That's probably the difference, is they're not willing to lose their lives to protect us. You get what I'm saying? But to sit here, and some are. That's another division there too. But there's a lot of them that like don't like the racist shit, and they're like, "Yo, you're making life harder for us because we do have friends that are black that we don't consider them in a sense of like, that's my black friend." It's just like, man, they cool as fuck. Yeah, I know they black, but shit, they cool as fuck, and they like us for who we are. They love us for who we are. There's Asian people that love us for who we are, but we just because there was one person that or a couple that are ignorant inside the group doesn't mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, look how many people copy our culture. Now I get it that gets into the whole little thing, and I don't want to leave out the nuances of why certain things are taken from us and we not necessarily appreciate it for it. But what I'm just saying in general is, I think there's a lot more of us that agree than disagree. And so I think when it comes to separating out the people that just have these evil ideas of who we are as a people, that we're just violent, or that we're just there, or that we're stupid, or, you know what I'm saying, whatever it may be, I just don't think that exists. I think it's a minority inside of the majority. Does that make sense? I think people that are racist are a minority amongst a majority of the people that live in this country. I don't think the majority of the people in this country are racist. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm still young. Maybe I'm still naive to a lot. Maybe I don't see the whole full picture. I hope I'm not proven wrong, because I don't want to be wrong about that, because then I got to look at life differently, if that makes sense. So I do think a lot of us are more so on the same team. We have to figure out the common ground, and then we need to know how to identify, which I've noticed how to identify. If you go against shit like Nolan Wells, you're the enemy. We're not saying, again, boys, I want to say this to you. No one is saying that you guys are cold-blooded unalivers. Some people are. But I don't think those people have platforms to call you out that way. I think most of us are like, hey, shit looking fishy, and then the way you guys are answering questions is just super fishy. So it's like, no, you kind of don't owe us nothing, but at the same time, it would probably be in your best interest just to stop lying or to stop talking. You gotta pick one of the two.
Side of your mouth, you are claiming that even with this intense decomposition, you didn't see evidence of any reddening on his knuckles or any indication of a fight. So you want it two ways. You want to say, decomp, can't tell what that was on the back of his head, but even though he's highly decomposed, I can tell you, he didn't have any reddening on his knuckles. Really?
No.
Because I see a problem with that.
Okay, you've skinned your knee before, right? Okay. If you have an abrasion, that's completely different than a contusion. That means you have scraping and the tearing away of the skin. That's something that's very obvious. And guess what? I've been in enough fist fights in my life that I know
reddening.
what scraping. Right, I know, and you're misstating that, because it's not a matter of reddening.
And see, this is the part that pissed me off about this. Do y'all see how like she's being combative with facts? That's that MAGA trope. And I'm not saying she's MAGA, but that's a very MAGA trope. It's like you're getting hit with facts and then you choose to stick on what you want to believe rather than the facts at hand. And so that is what started making me a little suspicious of Nancy, of like, okay, girl, when you gonna tie it back in? You know what I'm saying? And maybe I'm just tripping, but that I was suspicious of that.
We look at hands. We also look at contact points where people are being abraded as a result of scuffing their hands. That's different than a color discoloration. We're talking about the top layer, the epidermis down to the dermis, is being scraped.
I don't know if she's compromised. I'm gonna give her I think it's fair if someone can slip up and make a mistake or can have a bad day. So I won't call her compromised yet. But if she gets a second day in, then she probably getting cut off my TV. And again, if you hitting me with facts, I'm good with the facts. But if you're pushing back against fucking hypotheticals you have in your head because you want to move off of him being on a boat, that way these white boys, like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't mean to say white boys, but yeah, that's the part where I'm like, okay, no. Because then now you telling me you got to prove that CTO call is fake. Until that CTO call is fake, I can't move on. I cannot move on till you answer the question of why Warren looked like he done been to rehab and failed rehab and relapsed, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta prove to me that boy ain't sticking needles up in his arm. Cause if you showing me everything else that the sky is blue, but you steadily want to tell me the sky is green, that's when you're gonna lose credibility. So I'm gonna give her 1 day of telling me the sky is green, but you can't do it again. And I hope she understands what road she feels.
Way. He doesn't see any evidence of that in his.
I'm not talking about a scrape. I'm talking about if he had, for instance, reddening from a well.
Missy, it's okay. I'm aware. Like I said, I got to speak to my attorneys today. They watch the streams too. So I'm good. They told me I have a little bit more room to do more, but you know, I wasn't in the mood to be crazy.
The beginnings of a bruise. With that level of decomp, you're telling me you could still make that out?
No, those two things cannot exist in the same universe. You have to have an abraded area, and there would be multiple of them on his hands if he is punching or trying to defend himself. Yeah, and yes, we can make out bruises. Yeah, we can make out bruises.
You don't always have to have scrapes on your hand when you throw a punch. You don't always have to have cuts on your hand when you throw a punch. That's not true.
Well, that sounds mighty convenient if that's the road you want to go down, because I've seen them many times.
That's what I'm telling you. What you're saying is mighty darn convenient. That the reddening on the back of his head, can't really tell anything because he's so decomposed, but you can see his hands well enough to know he was not in a fist fight. Yeah, right. That's convenient, Joe Scott. Look, I'm not trying to convict anybody. I'm trying to find the truth. I'm trying to find out if this evidence of an altercation really happened. And to further muddy the waters, now we have more witnesses stating what they saw.
Another report came to me of someone saying that they saw Nolan with a girl, and they believe that they saw.
And we'll get into this tomorrow, because this is what pissed me off. It's like Officer Tatum was throwing out theory after theory after theory. I'm just like, Nolan was just out there being a problem child. First he gets in a fight with a dude, then he gets in a fight with a woman in the water, and he gets drowned by the woman. Do y'all see my point? Does that even make sense to you? 2 separate reports and then 2 other people that seen him on the island. It sounded like a lot of people were looking out for Ocean Springs at first, and a lot of people know on Ocean Springs that, like I said, this is a lie, and they pissed off and they calling out everybody on why it's a lie. Right. They were cradling now he in a fight with a woman an hour, 2 hours later while Katie on a boat gone somewhere. So he done found another boo that he booed up with in a couple of seconds. And I don't get it. I don't understand it. And it's hard to respect it. So, anyway, guys, I'm finna pop off here so I can get into the bed. You guys need to get in bed as well. If you missed the live show, it's always going to be the link in my bio so you can go back and watch it, as well as let the kinfolk know when they wake up in the morning, if it was too late for them, that they can watch it on the way to work. I plan to keep doing these as much as I can. I would love for you guys on TikTok to make your asses over to YouTube one day, because I will only do certain shows on TikTok going forward, and most of the bigger productions, because I'm gonna try to find better ways to get this information to you guys, and so I think YouTube is just a better platform. It makes it easier to kind of communicate with you all too. TikTok is a little bit limited, especially with like the things that I want to do as far as like adult nature. I don't always want to have to sugarcoat stuff and say pum pum and blue bloop and fairy tale and princess and rainbow daisies. Sometimes I need to be able to use all forms of vocabulary, and YouTube allows me to be able to express myself a little bit better. It's cute and good for TV on TikTok, but this ain't TV, baby. This is YouTube. So again, thank you all for coming in. If you have any information that you see, again, don't tag me in it. I won't see it. Send me a message, private message to me, DM, however you want to say it, however you want to do it, and I'll click on it. I'll accept your request if I haven't already, and then I'll research it. And I do appreciate everything that you guys do. Thank you for liking the lives on TikTok. Thank you for sharing the lives on TikTok. Thank everyone for the gifts. Thank everyone for the follows. I'll probably, if you guys aren't in the Discord, we got to figure out how to get you into the Discord, because I do want to figure out certain days or certain times in the show to where we can strictly just do panels. Because I do want to hear from you guys the most. And whether that's you coming up on TikTok or you coming up on Discord and I bring you up on YouTube and we have discussions that way we can get into certain matters a little bit more. I want to be able to hear from you guys. Thank you for anyone on YouTube that came through, that made the chat jump and bounce around. Thank you for the 600 views that we were able to accumulate over 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours. Thank you for anybody that liked the live. If you haven't liked the live on YouTube, make sure that you hit the thumbs up, not the little hearts, but make sure you actually hit the physical thumbs up. It helps the video and push it out into the algorithm and to other people throughout the day and throughout the night and throughout the day. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure that you hit that bell for all notifications. All right. Love you guys. Peace, love. Go watch something else. Take your mind off the shit that you've been going through, because it's some dark shit. And hopefully things get better. If you hear anything from Officer Bootlickum, take it with a grain of salt.